Ville. Lots of pieces of authentic hand-signed products, Royals, Chiefs, MU, KU, K-State, KC Current, and more. Royal stuff, game-used items from Sal Perez, full catcher gears, bats, game model bats from Bobby, Vinny, Brett, Bo, game model helmets from Patrick Mahomes, game-used jerseys, and how about this special tomorrow? KC Current outside backer Ellie Wheeler, 1 o'clock, be here. That's fantastic. I can't wait. There's some of those jerseys up on the wall as well. Back by popular demand, once again, the mystery Christmas bags, mini helmets, jerseys, baseballs, and for the first time, college mystery bags from KU, MU, and K-State. You can also help out people this holiday season by bringing in non-perishable food, clothing, or personal hygiene items. And if you do, you get an entry into a drawing for 10 signed items that they'll be giving away. You can also donate money for entries into that drawing. Somebody on your shopping list has a man cave. ADA should be your first stop. Whichever the team is on your list they cheer for, you'll find the perfect gift at the ADA open house and year-end sale. In fact, if you're of Missouri, I always like to see what catches my eye. And already I've seen Brady Cook, by the way, announced he's going to make his first NFL start on Sunday for the Jets. Missouri, yellow with the black numbers, Brady Cook autographed jersey. There's also one from Nick Bolton, a Mizzou, black with the yellow numbers. Kansas fans, Jaden Daniels, red Kansas jersey and a Devin Neal home jersey autograph. K-State, you got Avery Johnson, you got a Marquise Noel basketball jersey. So all the college stuff is up here, not just Chiefs and Royals. Southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway across from Park Hill South High School. Just look for the banners. Again, 10 to 7 today, 10 to 5 tomorrow, the ADA open house and year-end sale. Come on by and see me.
It is awesome. They have so much great stuff. It is, if you've got a sports fan on your list that lives here in Kansas City, there are so many great items. So get out there. ADA fundraising once a year and once a year only. They do this where they open up the doorways and you can come on in 112 Northwest Parkway Drive in Riverside. If you want to GPS it, that's the best way to get there. Curtis will be there all the way up till 6. You can go say hello to Curtis. And say hello to everybody from ADA. Great KC company. They do a great job. But you got your eye on any one thing in particular?
I tell you what, that Nick Bolton jersey looks pretty sweet.
I knew it'd be a Mizzou.
I love the black jersey with the gold numbers. That's the first thing that I walked in and went, ooh.
I like it.
And looks like that thing might fit, but I wouldn't wear it. That thing is going to go in a box.
Yeah, or better yet, in a frame.
Something that nice, and then wear it somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely framed. I think you know a place.
Yeah, I do. To go see my buddy Michael, Art and Frame Warehouse. They're fantastic. All right, so get to ADA. We'll keep telling you about all the great items they've got that you can check out. We'll do that throughout the course of the show. Curtis will be there until 6 o'clock tonight. We start actually here on a Friday, on a Red Friday, with a little blue news. Blue not as in down, blue as in royal blue. Michael Garcia locked up. What do we think? Do you like the deal? I think everybody loves the fact that Michael Garcia got locked up. I will just start with this and say that I'm a little bit surprised that this got done. Not positively or negatively, but I think the fact that they were able to find a sweet spot, that the Royals felt like, okay, we're getting a player we definitely like. He's clearly a big leaguer. He's clearly a defender. He's won the Gold Glove. But don't you think there has to be at least a little bit of reservation about the bat? He's had one really premium offensive year, right? So to me, going back to the days of when Dayton Moore, when I asked him when he first came to town and one of the first conversations he had, hey, what'll be your approach to locking guys up? And he's like, well, we probably won't be as quick as some people. I'd rather be a year late and pay a little bit more and know what we're getting. Right? That was Dayton Moore's philosophy. And J.J. Picola was on that staff. It wasn't J.J. Picola's philosophy. It was Dayton Moore's philosophy. But I felt like with Bobby Witt Jr., you had a similar situation, just a guy that you had an even bigger investment in and had even more upside. And off that first year, you knew Bobby Witt could hit for power, right? And if you believed in your scout, you always said he was a great defender. The metrics that first year said he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
and he was playing all over the place. And so it's like, well, what do you really have here? Now, this is why I think it's kind of interesting with Michael Garcia. I think the Royals would love to have signed Bobby Witt Jr. after that first year. The offer they would have given him would have been a fraction of what he ultimately got. And that's why they didn't get him signed, because his team believed in him, believed in his talent, and they would never sign for what a reasonable deal was based upon his first year. Second year was better, but the on-base was still below 300. Royals, I'm sure, wanted to sign him, but they still thought there was more. And then finally he breaks out, has an MVP caliber year, and they get an MVP caliber offer, and then the next year he goes even better. So I may have cut his first year into 2 years there, but I'd have to go back and look. How many years in are we on Bobby? 3 or 4? Maybe I'm adding in the year that he was with the club in spring training, and there was talk, and they would spend the whole year in the minors. There was talk that they were already trying to work a deal, one of those, we're going to sign him in the minor leagues. But anyway, the process, I'll have to go back and get the chronology together. But that was kind of the process. The Royals would love to have signed Bobby Witt Jr. to a long-term deal anywhere along the way. The question was what they would sign him for, what it warranted signing him for. Was it ever going to match up with what Bobby Witt Jr. and his people thought the upside was? And it didn't match up until he had a very good year, right? The MVP year, you would say that's where the Royals found out that they got a bargain, right? Because they signed him right before the MVP year. And so I may have screwed up that timeline there, but they signed him where there was still some question, but they had seen enough to believe in him, and the amount that they were offering was enough that they could say, all right, for the long-term security, this is the bulk of what we think we could get if you do even better, right? And now what's happened? Bobby Witt Jr. had the MVP caliber year the year before. This year was not an MVP caliber year, but it was a receive votes year, right? I always think of an MVP caliber year, a year that you would receive some first-place votes, right? You can finish 7th, 8th, 9th in the MVP voting without ever getting any first-place votes. I don't think this year was an MVP caliber year, but it's one where you get votes. It's a top 10 year, right, still. And so it's validated what he is. But if you'd signed the contract thinking that the 24 season was just 80% of what he was ultimately going to be, you'd probably be disappointed, right? Because now he's regressed a little bit, as seasons do. Some are better than others. Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown for more yards every single year in the NFL. He threw for 5,000, didn't throw for 5,000 again. He threw for 5,018. He didn't throw for 5,000 again until 22. Right? So there are ebbs and flows based upon what's going on around you and just the health and different things that go on in a baseball season. So with Michael Garcia, you've had this player that you're like, well, we think he's good, but he really hadn't put together a season that warranted even having a discussion until this year. And the fact that they could marry up on a deal 1 year in, I think is pretty impressive. My prediction would have been that, no, they won't sign him, and he'll either have a better year and the Royals will pay more because they'll go, okay, that just validated it, and we're not going to let this guy go, or he'll regress and he'll end up just playing it out towards the end of his controllable years, and he'll either walk in free agency or they'll trade him with 1 or 2 years left, and he won't be one of your core players, one of the guys that are going to be here more than just your first. And really, I think for the Royals, it shouldn't even be 6 years. It should be your first 4 controllable years, and they should be looking to move anybody with 2 years left to maximize the returns on who they can trade. But they were able to get it done with Michael Garcia.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why they feel good about this is the power certainly kind of came somewhat out of nowhere last year, but another part of his offensive game kind of has always been there. He's been an on-base guy since A-ball. You look at all the areas of minor league, he's always 340, 350, 360 on base. Rookie year, 364, 358 and 23. He dropped back last year, but he got back up to 351. So I think they thought at the very least they know I think that consistent thread through his past gives them more of a feeling that the year he had this past season is more duplicatable. If everything had been new this year, they might not be as consistent or feel as confident about that. But I think the fact that he's always had the on-base tool probably gives them a little more confidence that the other stuff that's kind of come along since recently is going to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
and defense is pretty good. The defense is he's not going to forget how to play third base, and he's 25.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing, and this does a couple of things for the Royals. One, now that they have him, and I think they've settled in. Like I don't think he's going to play the outfield, right? Like if you wanted to dream a dream, or maybe that's part of the deal. We'll get you signed, but we might make a run at Alex Bregman. I don't think they are, by the way. Or we might pick up a third baseman somewhere, and then we need you to go elsewhere. Would you go to the outfield? I doubt that's it. I think what it is I found a home over here on the left side. I'm a Gold Glove defender. This is my spot, and this is the Royals going, yep, it is your spot. It's like shortstop is Bobby's spot until you guys age out of it defensively, and then we'll figure out where you go on down the road. But now, in the prime of your career, yeah, that's your spot, and you have a building block. And I think this is also the Royals following through and letting everybody in that organization know as a player that you can develop with the Royals, make yourself into a true, I think when you're a Gold Glover and an All-Star, let's call Maikel Garcia a star. Superstar, no, but star. He's a baseball star, and you will be rewarded. And I think that is a good position to be in. Now, I think you do look across the diamond and go, is Vinny next? And we've talked about it. I'll say this. The Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso deal, I know the Royals, I'm sure, have wanted Vinny Pasquantino to play a full year so they could go, we believe in his health, right? And now he's done it. And he's produced on an offensive level at a really high, produced offensively at a really high level for 2 years, right? So to me, we're at a spot where you know what Vinny Pasquantino is. If you'd have been willing to do it last year, I think you could have got him cheaper because last year the talk was, Pete Alonso can only get a 1-year deal. Like, how valuable is a first baseman? They're kind of a dime a dozen. Well, the industry didn't say that this year because Kyle Schwarber got $30 million a year for 5 years and Pete Alonso got $31 million a year for 5 years. So the industry has flipped. So can you nail down Vinny Pasquantino as well? Or is this a move that we're signing Maikel because eventually we're going to move Vinny because Jack Caglianone's going to go to first base? I don't know, but those options are there. But I know this. Maikel Garcia is a star baseball player, and the Royals just locked him up. That is good baseball.
Absolutely. And I wonder about, what it would take with Vinny. I'm not thinking there's going to be like a hometown discount, but he was the most vocal proponent of the re-upping of Seth Lugo. And he had the entire clubhouse was stoked, and it shows we're committed. If it got around to Vinny, well, how committed are you? I mean, I'm not sure how much of a bargaining chip that is, or if that in any important extent portrays his willingness to take a little less. But coming off 32 and 113, I mean, he could ask quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's not Pete Alonso or Kyle Schwarber, but he is at least the conscience, the leader, maybe the heart of this baseball team, and he's a really productive player. So I think that's the next step. I don't want to lose sight of what is a celebratory day of Maikel Garcia. There's a star player, another star player that's come along in the Royals organization, and they have signed him. These things did not happen with the Glass family. No. They did not happen with Dayton Moore, for whichever one's choice. I think more Glass family than Moore's choosing, for sure. But they are happening with the Sherman and Piccolo combination, and I think that is something that is very important and needs to be celebrated. Because in a minute, I'm going to flip things around, and I want to be positive first because I'm going to be negative here in a second. But I think these are important things to note. Yeah, go ahead.
One more positive note. Think about this. This year was the first year that the Royals had a third baseman and shortstop be all-stars and Gold Gloves in the same season. In the history of the franchise, they're both 25, and they're both going to be here for the next 5 seasons. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. They're both under control for the next 5 seasons. Because I do want to stress to people, if you want a winning team, which I do, they're going to have to trade good players at some point.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's not always going to be the rental pitcher for Cole Reagans. At some point, it's going to be a really good player for lots of prospects, or a really good player for a really good player that plays somewhere else, or really good prospects for a good player. I want to be clear that This does not mean that Michael Garcia and Bobby Wood Jr. retire in Royals uniforms. It means that they will be in a Royals uniform for a number of years, and they're a controllable asset that the Royals have. They're a tremendous asset that the Royals have within their control, which at some point may have to be flipped for something else. So I want to take that. We didn't get to this yesterday because there was a bunch of Chiefs stuff, but I want to mention this because this is a great time as a Royals baseball fan. And I think it's important, like I said, to celebrate it. I mentioned Vinny because I think that would be the next thing, and maybe that'll be done before we get to spring training, right? Maybe it'll be done tomorrow. I don't know. But those are really positives. But I want to say this. We're at a point. I've laid out this timeline for a while. Every now and then the stadium issue comes up. And we're at a point, I don't know when it is, but we're probably weeks away from the Kansas City Chiefs announcing what they're going to do, right? Like they are at some point right about now, or I think even have presented, here's our plan to renovate Arrowhead. Here's our plan for Kansas. I've told you all what that is. It's been reported in a lot of places, but it's a dome out by the Speedway with a practice facility south of the soccer complex that's just south of Family Leisure. Just think if you know where Family Leisure is, on the south side, that's where the practice facility and a bunch of development, think of the Star, the Cowboys training camp or practice facility down in Frisco, Texas. Something along those lines is what would be built. That's the Kansas plan. Renovation of Arrowhead Stadium is the Missouri plan. Which one are they going to go for? I don't know. It's a lot more money to go to Kansas, right? It's going to be funded at roughly, if you can get a vote past the Missouri, at roughly the same percentage. But so what do they want to do? Do they want the brand new and go to Kansas, or do they want to stay in Missouri, try to win another vote, and renovate? I don't know. That's the Hunt family's decision. I think business decision, it'd be a no-brainer to take the Kansas deal. But if it's sentimentality and you believe that Arrowhead Stadium is something that just simply can't be replaced, you know where I stand. I don't see it that way. But if you do, then I can see the pull of staying on the Missouri side. But on the Royals, where I sit here and tell you the Michael Garcia thing is a great time to celebrate, and I think there's so many. We've just had success after success after success on the baseball side. I know they didn't make the playoffs this year, but they had another winning season. Well, they've had back-to-back winning seasons. Do you know they had 3 from 13 to 15? When was the last time, Kurtis, they had back-to-back winning seasons before that? Or was it was 13, 14, 15? Did they get to 82 and 80? They did. And I think they were, 81 and 81 the next year, whatever it is. But other than that, you got to go way back on where you find the successful seasons. So, to me, while we're excited about where things are going on baseball, my understanding is that there is literally nothing going. There is a plan that it still has millions of hurdles, and I don't think anybody thinks of it as a big deal because I think everybody views the Chiefs and Royals as being in the same spot. And while I love where the Royals are going baseball-wise, and that shows leadership, it shows leadership from J.J. Picoult, and it definitely shows leadership from John Sherman and the rest of the ownership, which are Kansas City people, which I love and adore. But we are weeks away from there being a lot of pressure turned up on the Royals, because I do believe we're going to hear real soon, around the first of the year, just after the first of the year, we're going to hear real soon, like, this is what we're going to do for the Chiefs. And we can all sit and debate whether or not they made the right plan or the right, direction, whichever one they choose. But they're wrapping up, and the Royals appear to be still scrambling, right? And I don't, for the life of me, understand how you can be doing things so right on your baseball side and not be moving forward with a stadium plan because you're on a lease that ends in 2031. You have 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. You have 5 seasons to play where you are. And then you got to sign some kind of an extension with, if you're leaving, a group of people that aren't going to be real inclined to give you a sweetheart of a deal. And I think the extension is like a 5-year extension. Are you going to sign on? And so now we're 10 years away from getting to the next thing, and building the stadium will take a minimum of 3 years. I think it's in such sharp contrast right now to how well things are going on the baseball side. And I'm not going to say how horrible they're going, but from what I hear, for everything I hear about there is clearly a direction and an end point that we are coming to with the Kansas City Chiefs. The exact opposite on the other side. and I said this on our Kaufman Corner podcast, as I understand it right now, they have one place. You have some other developers that would like to get in on it. People in the Northland would like to think they're in on it, but they have the Sprint campus, a campus that the Jewish Community Center just came out with a public letter and said, we don't want you here. You would be bad for us and what we do. Do not. An open letter to the public addressed to the governor that said, don't come here. Don't put it at that location. And that's the only location that is on the table right now, as far as I understand it. So it's amazing. On a day that you can absolutely celebrate that the baseball side is humming, the stadium side, the business side, is still circling and not making progress. And it's a big contrast between their baseball side and their, call it, business side. And that's a little bit frustrating. You'd like to see them. They have been at this for a long time. They lost their vote a long time ago. And I don't think they're any closer to announcing, and it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. I always say this. We like to be proactive and not just reactive. And so in the coming weeks, we're going to get an answer on the Chiefs, and we still don't have it on the Royals, and it's going to stand out like a sore thumb, the difference between the two. Wow, that was abrupt.
First album, or first song off the first album. And we found out right away that John Bonham was a badass.
Yes, we did. It is the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You know, they're badasses up at ADA fundraising. Different than John Bonham. You know,
Yes,
they're not blowing up
They are.
hotel, tearing apart hotel rooms. They're just really good with all the items. Real quick, Curtis, remind everybody where you're at.
I'm at the ADA fundraising. That's up on Parkview. It's southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway across from Park Hill South High School. It is their yearly open house and sale. It's day 3 of 4. And tons of authentic hand-signed products, Chiefs, Royals, MU, K-State, Nebraska, Casey Current. And 2 things I just noticed. We talked about Bobby Witt Jr. and Maikel Garcia. There is a case with 2 baseballs in it, signed with the Royals on the front. Bobby Witt Jr., Maikel Garcia.
Yeah.
History-making duo. You can buy both baseballs signed in a beautiful case. I'll take a picture of that and post it. Somebody also just took a Salvador Perez autographed chest protector off the wall. They brought that bad boy down. That's pretty damn cool.
That is really cool.
There's all kinds of cool stuff. And it's not just things that you think you would be at a place like this. There's 4 or 5 things. Every time I come out here, I go, oh, wow, hadn't thought of that. That's pretty neat. So there's a Kansas City Kings Otis Birdsong jersey. Brad Peterson, the fine proprietor, just showed me. Blue Kings, the old style where they had because the Kings had the names below the number.
Yep.
It was the only team I've ever seen. Oh, my gosh, I want that bad.
Yeah. Some of the WNBA teams have done that, but the Kings were the ones that did it in the NBA. It's great stuff. Brad does a great job. Go see him. Parkville is where Curtis is. I'm not sure where Parkview is, but Parkville is where you will find Curtis.
I get Park. It's
Write it
Park
down.
Hill is it's Parkville. Park Hill is over the hill, and it's Parkway Drive. So I'm getting to that age.
You're in the park. We'll leave it at that. 913-810-810, the phone number. Let's go to the phones. Marty, waiting patiently. You're in the program, Marty. What's going on?
How's it going, fellas?
Good, buddy. What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, shout out to Gruddy for on his segment not only saying what the shape of Paul Feinbaum's head looks like, but saying it, then asking if he can say it.
Yes.
Anyways, Chiefs, I think, have a big problem with accountability. I know Reed always talks about people need to be held accountable. Juwan Taylor is a big prime example. Only reason he's not playing still is because of he's hurt. Noah Gray has done nothing, in my opinion, to keep earning a spot on this roster. He's more of like a fullback type. The only reason that Pole guy, who actually played decent against the Texas, was on the field by accident because Wanya Morris got hurt. We keep bringing back. We haven't brought back McCall Hardman this year, shockingly, but in other years we have.
He'll be here.
We like our players way too much and really need some roster overhaul and coach overhaul during the offseason, or else I think Reed's seat might get a little warm.
I think, and Marty, thank you for the call. A couple things there. One, I heard the term this disaster of a Chiefs season earlier today. I'm going to leave with that, and then I'll get to Marty. Press the brakes, folks. It's not the year we wanted, but are you 6? Are you 10? How old are you that you think this is a disaster of a season? Was your first year watching football 2018? Because if it was, okay, let me sit down and tell you, the history of the game and the history of this franchise. But you're impressing no one, at least in this program, if you're going to call in and try to act like everything now is this complete disaster, all right? Because it's not. So if you use the term disaster on this season, what are you going to do when they go 3-14 or 2-15 or 4-13? Because there will be a day where that happens again, right? I don't think it's going to be while Patrick Mahomes wears a Chiefs uniform, but it will happen. And so that is when you will see a disaster. This is not a disaster, okay? And likewise, so when I do have an objection to the venom that Marty brought to the call. Somehow the fan base of the Chiefs have been wronged by Andy Reid and Brett Veach and Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes and Rashee Rice and Juwan Taylor, whoever it is. These are the people that brought you 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, 2 straight championships. Most of them brought you 3 championships overall, 5 conference championships, 7 consecutive conference championship game appearances. So, look, maybe there's other places where, like, they can't come up with something to talk about if the Chiefs aren't winning a Super Bowl, or their goal is to fall over themselves and let you know that they're just the biggest Chiefs kiss ass that's ever lived when they're winning. But know it, I'm the biggest. I'm willing to kick them harder than anybody when they're down. That place is not here. This is where reality lives in the program. So spare me the drama and the anger and the angst that you seem to think that you somehow are justified in having towards this organization right now. And I'm no cheerleader. The change does need to come. I agree. And as we finish off the games, we will start to talk about changes. Does there need to be a change in the coaching staff? As I sit here today, there does need to be, right? I don't think it's the head coach. I don't think it's either coordinator. But position coaching changes, yes, they need to come. I know Jason Anderson's been harping on that. We all know some of the places to look. Personnel-wise, though, like, there's a contradiction there, Marty. If you're telling me that guys can't play, but then Seaboldt goes in and plays, and which is it? Like I don't can Noah Gray play? Like, I think your original point about maybe being too comfortable with players or maybe too devoted to players, which I think is a strength normally, that they will stay with the player and develop them and get the most of them, is also their weakness. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. But it's a better weakness to have than being somebody who can't coach, doesn't have any idea what talent looks like. But, I mean, let's be clear. It is not a positive that Wanya Morris has gone into the game this year over Seaboldt at any time. It was not a positive that Seaboldt was cut. I put that to Matt Nagy, who it was theoretically, it's ultimately Brett Veach's decision. In my opinion, it's ultimately Andy Reid's decision. Brett Veach can strongly recommend, and Brett Veach will have the loudest voice in Andy Reid's ear, but ultimately Andy Reid is not going to be told no to anyone who's on this team. So the fact that Seaboldt was exposed and allowed to get out of this organization and Wanya Morris was kept is definitively a negative. There is no way to put lipstick on that pig. Okay? And you know that. I said if they get the franchise quarterback hurt because Wanya Morris is playing left tackle, then we are going to begin to have discussions about the head coach and or the general manager and their future with this organization. But you know what? They didn't get him hurt. In fact, they protected him really well. Again, there's a problem. Why did you go through Wanya Morrisville to get to Seaboldt Town? Right? I don't know, because you went way out of your way to what was the straight line to get to where you needed to be. But let's be clear. They did get Seaboldt back. He did go on the field, and he did protect your franchise quarterback. And they get credit for that, just as they get blame for exposing and potentially losing Seaboldt. They're all of that. They're all the bad, which there's some of it, but they're also all the good. So, like, spare me the drama and the I'm so angry or I'm so hurt. You're a spoiled brat is what we are as fans if we're doing that. I appreciate what they have done for this franchise. It has been amazing. They need to reset in a couple of spots. You know, that's a fact. Brad wants to talk Royals. You're on the program, Brad. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is, I'm a massive New Orleans Saints fan, so listening to that call cracks me up because
You know what a disaster looks like. It is called the Saints.
God, dude, and I know exactly what a disaster is when you have a quarterback of your lifetime and you don't prepare afterwards, and your coach bolts, and everything goes to hell. I know exactly what that's like. And I would just say that, again, I know it's been a while since I talked to you, Soren. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Sure.
But one of the things I would say is perspective. Like, oh my gosh, we are massive suckage right now, and we were massive suckage last year, which means that we sucked last year, and we had the NFL advantageous schedule, and we still suck this year. Okay. The Chiefs have been great for a long time, and every year they get kicked in the junk with a tough schedule, and they still get it done. And the nature of the NFL, more than any other sports league, the nature of the NFL is it is designed to reset teams. No, I mean, Tom Brady, I think most people would say the greatest quarterback in history. Tom Brady had an extended time frame where he was not winning. He was winning like the Chiefs are probably going to be okay record-wise this year, but he wasn't going to Super Bowls. That's the way it is. And what's important is on a year like this year, I think this year is a gift to you guys. That's what I think. I think this year is a gift, and it is inevitable. Okay? What's important is don't waste it. Don't waste the higher draft pick that you get. Don't waste the things that you probably avoided having to look at last year, right? Because they were so great in close games, and you suck at them this year. Don't waste what is reality this year, and I don't think they will. So I did not intend to talk to you about that, but I was listening to that other dude. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah,
this is crazy, man. I was like, I'm the perfect guy to come on right now because I can just tell you, I'm a massive Saints fan.
You are the perfect guy, and you know that the point that you're making is that back when they had Sean Payton, they kept trying to tape it together, and so after they won their championship in 2009. And
2009.
And probably their run was open about 13. Was probably over about 13.
Dude,
and they kept taping it together, and so you got 7-9, 7-9, 7-9. They did kind of resurface 11-5, 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, but they have bottomed out because they never acknowledged the weaknesses and addressed them. They kept just trying to take the shortest answer to stay relevant
100%.
now, and that's the lesson
man.
that the Chiefs need to learn.
1,000%, man. And when we hit the jackpot in 2017 with the draft, it's one of the best drafts in NFL history. Okay, I wish we'd have drafted Mahomes. You guys jumped in front of us. We didn't get him. You did. Well done, right? But I'm like, we had one of the best drafts, and that's what led to we got totally screwed, I think, in the NFC Championship game from going to the Super Bowl. But whatever, right? And I'm like, I hear this with fans, and I'm hearing this like, oh my God! I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
You're this is a part of the NFL. This is a part of parity, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to have times where you have to reset. The key for you guys is don't waste it. Don't make it 2 to 3 seasons to reset like the Patriots did.
Agreed.
Right? Reset 1 year, man. Anyway, I was like, I've got to talk.
Yeah, what was your Royals comment?
That dude. So two thoughts for you. One, I'm tracking 100%. I love what the Royals are doing, with player development, identifying them, signing them early. I love it. I think I do believe, from what I understand and what I'm hearing, they're going to make multiple big moves. They're going to make one big move trade-wise, and I think they're going to surprise some people with who they sign. Okay, and I know people are like Lane Thomas. I'm like, that ain't it. Okay, this is just we got to fill out a roster. He gives us good depth. I'm totally tracking with you. What I want to know is, I'm tracking with you on the stadium stuff. What's your assessment on why is the stadium? I mean, it's been 3 years.
Why? I can answer it very succinctly.
I want to know why. Dude, I'm happy to listen off the air, man. But what is going on?
Well, Brad,
why is this?
Yeah, it's always, and I'm going to let you go, Brad. Thank you for the call, and I'll tell you, good stuff there on the Saints, because it is an important lesson for us to learn. But listen, there's always layers to it. It's always more than one thing. If you listen to the program, you know that. I'm not going to sit here and give you some BS like this one guy's the problem or this one decision is the problem. It's many things. Some of them I may know. Many of them I'm sure I don't, okay? But I will tell you this. I have said, if you remember, and Kurtis, Kyle, I don't know, you probably weren't with us, but Kurtis, you can remember the day I came in and one of my lead topics was Mark Cuban, the interview he did with ESPN where he announced, they asked him, why'd you sell controlling interest in the Mavericks? It's after he'd already done it. And he said, because when I got into the league, it was about TV and tech. That's how you grew the value of your franchise. And I know tech and I know TV. And I was the right guy. It now is about being a real estate mogul. Yes, it's about being a real estate mogul. And the Mavericks need a new stadium, a new arena, and it needs to be tied into a real estate development, and that's not what I do. So I'm not the right guy to make the best decision for what's best for the Mavericks and the city of Dallas. So I'm going to I'll still be an owner, still be a fan, but I'm not going to be the guy that's in charge, right? And I said, this is good information. When at any other time have you ever heard a billionaire tell you there's something he wasn't the best at? Like every really rich guy I know, hell, every guy I know who's just got a few bucks but likes to act like he's rich will also act like he knows everything about everything. And here's a guy who's immensely successful who is telling you, I don't know this. That's why I'm doing this. And my message then was, I hope John Sherman heard this call. I don't expect John Sherman to sell the team, but I expect John Sherman to bring somebody in who understands navigating real estate and politics. The guy who, by all accounts, is in charge is Brooke Sherman. Not related. If you haven't heard that name, most people have. It's John Sherman's right-hand man. But it's his right-hand man from his other businesses. He is not a real estate and politics guy. Now, are there guys behind the scenes that I don't know about that have that acumen? Maybe. I don't know. To be honest with you, the Royals are quite difficult to work with when it comes to having any conversations with people other than the baseball relations directly with baseball people. The baseball people are wonderful people if you can get to them, okay? But I'm not really sure what all's going on. But I know this. I do not know of anyone who is experienced in navigating politics and real estate, which is what the stadium deal requires. When I talk to people in and around this, everybody tells me the Royals don't know what they're doing. The Royals can't make up their mind. The Royals are not anywhere near getting to the conclusion of something. They have some visions and some ideas, and they've visited some sites. And I'm going to tell you where it stands right now is they have grossly overpaid to take control of, not really buy, but take control of the old Sprint campus. Okay? But they are not ready to get things moving. And that is in direct contrast from where the Chiefs are, who I think will be announcing in the weeks to come. Like I will, if it's the Super Bowl and the Chiefs, we don't know what the Chiefs Super Bowl is, I will be stunned. Stunned. Okay? I don't think we'll get anywhere near the Super Bowl. I think that probably the Hunt family is making their decision right now. Right? That's what I think is going on. And once they have their decision, they're ready to move forward. The Royals are still trying to cut through tape because they don't know what they're doing.
The program with Soren Petro. I'm out weekdays from 2 to 6 on
Unleashed. 2-minute drill. Todd Lebo with the very latest from the Chiefs practice today. Kevin Harlan coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Still taking your phone calls here in hour number 1. 913-810-810. Ted, you're in the program, Ted. What's going on, buddy?
Happy Friday. Don't take any crap off Danny today.
Never.
I got 2 questions for you today. Number one, S.A. Pole, what is the contract situation with him leaving, coming back? How much control do the Chiefs have over him?
Yeah, it's just like he's basically, they have 4 years of control, like any rookie. So they might have to do some kind of, I can't remember when you're undrafted, you might be able to actually become a restricted free agent after 3 years. I forget how it is. That so rarely comes up that I'm not that well versed. But they as long as they don't cut him or try to, you have to cut a guy to then get him to the practice squad. As long as they don't do that, they'll control him.
So if he turns into something, they've got some control. If he actually is a player. Okay. The second question, and I don't know that I believe this, I'm just asking the question. Is there, when it comes to player acquisition, whether that's through the draft, trade, or what have you, signing free agents, is there maybe too many cooks in the kitchen? I mean, there's a lot of experience with Tobe, with Spagnuolo, and Andy Reid, and I just, Spagnuolo wants a certain kind of guy. Andy Reid wanted Xavier Worthy. Dave Tobe wants certain guys for special teams, and they've got a lot of experience, and they've been around together a long time. Is there a little too much influence?
Well, I think
too many people having a say. Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I think there's clearly a hierarchy and there's clearly a structure, and it starts with Andy Reid, and then under him, I would say there are 3 prongs. There's Brett Veach, there's Steve Spagnuolo, and there's probably Matt Nagy. And Matt coaching the same side of the ball as Andy, is on that same level, but probably doesn't carry as much weight, right? If Matt Nagy says, I love this wideout, Andy Reid can trump him because that's his side of the ball. If Steve Spagnuolo says, I love this defensive lineman, Andy Reid's going to be like, well, you're my defensive guy, so let's go with it, right? So I'm just shaping that out. I don't think there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I think what needs to be kept in mind when you look at talent, and you obviously get this, Ted, and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you listen off the air because we're running short here. But Brett Veach does not go out and draft the player that Brett Veach thinks is the best player at that position for any system on planet Earth, right? He doesn't go out and draft the player that he thinks is just the best system for even what he thinks his coach runs. He goes out and drafts the best player for the system that his coaches run, that his coaches have signed off on, okay? Whatever it might be. And if there's a difference of opinion, like, hey, this defensive lineman, Steve, I think it'd be great for you. Joe Cohen, like, what do you think? And they go, yeah, pretty good, but I don't like this part about him. All right, well, I got this guy. And they come to a consensus and they make that pick. Do they need to get better at D-line? Yes. At wide receiver? Yes, no doubt. Annie Unleashed.
Both barrels.
Brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. You can find them online at eastonroofing.com. Catchy website. Good choice on the website, I think.
Yeah.
You agree?
So, sure. Second best website in Kansas City.
810WHB.com?
Third.
Okay.
DannyClinksgill.com. That one. Yeah.
I knew what you were fishing for.
Yeah.
Easton Roofing now offers siding as well. You can get the best brands like James Hardy, LP SmartSide, Alside, Certainty. Their team provides full design support, including a visualizer tool.
Yes,
to
it's
preview
cool.
colors. It is very cool. You can see the actual color and style right on your home. You make a confident decision that way. When it comes to siding, Easton Roofing offers lifetime warranties and factory pre-painted siding with a 15-year paint fade warranty. Just go to eastonroofing.com. Nothing but professionalism with Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Well, integrity didn't matter recently in my yard because somebody came along and absconded with the Easton Roofing sign and put their own holiday light sign in like they did it.
You're kidding me.
Nope. And I took it right out. It's in a dumpster somewhere. So if you were the person who put up...
Why wouldn't you have... Did it just have a phone number?
Yeah.
I would have tracked down the number, and I would have showed him where
Well,
it
it was
go.
technically... We live in a corner. You could technically say it was community property. There's some gray area there, this right next to the sidewalk. We live right at the corner, so it probably isn't our property technically, but it's in our purview. So
What a competitive field, the holiday lighting.
that's right, but they were trying to
Stealing
take credit for
signs.
my lovely holiday lights.
I get a lot of compliments on my lights.
I do too.
One of my friends said, "Hey, Clark," and when he's he goes, "Hey, Griswold." Maybe I was like, "That's the compliment I wanted."
There you go.
I go, and you know what? It's about half of what I wanted. My wife nixed a whole bunch of the things that I wanted to do. Although I've won her over. Next year we'll add to the equation. So we got that going
I've seen
for us.
people be a little competitive.
That's me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
No,
some people have upped their game around us.
All around you,
Yeah.
I've had some people. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing now. Okay, I'll see you in 26, kiddos. Kurtis is with us. Not really. He's at ADA Fundraising. Where? What do we get your eye on now, Kurtis?
Actually, somebody brought by didn't say who it was or what. They welcome to Uptown, a Tulane hooded sweatshirt. So if you're interested in that, I will bring it back for you.
I always like a good hoodie. Is it fatty size, or they bring
it's
us
nice one.
medium?
It's a pretty good size. It's powder blue. It's that Tulane blue. It has a really cool logo on the front, so I'll bring that back.
Why would
I'm
I
still
say
looking
no?
over
I
at
thought
the.
Tulane was green.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
they're green and
They
light
are,
blue.
but
Okay.
They're the green wave,
Right.
But their secondary color is light blue,
Okay.
and they wear a lot of because they know the powder blue look is hot,
Right.
So
okay.
they wear a lot of powder
I
blue.
got you. I got you.
Yeah, it happens. What caught my eye is that they've now sold both of the Salvador Perez autographed chest protectors. There were two when I got here.
I was thinking, I was going to tell you
down the first hour.
at the end of the show, I was going to be like, dude, if there's still one of those, I was thinking about.
That's a nice
I'll
item.
take it over to Art and Frame. I know he'll frame it up nice. Michael will do a great job over there. I was like, that would be pretty cool to have Salvador Perez chest protector, and now it's gone. So I moved too slow.
Yeah. Now they might have more. I mean, I think they only had two up there because that was the space they had. So I'll check with Brad and see if they have another one of those bad boys, and we'll see how that goes. Though, still the thing I like the most is the blue Kings Otis Birdsong jersey. That's, if I could grab one thing out of this room, that might be it, because that is pretty sweet. It's legit. It's, you know what a real NBA jersey looks like. It's got the name under the number like they used to wear. I love that thing. Anyway, I am at ADA Fundraising in Parkville. I got it. Did I get it right that time? Parkville? Close
enough.
Good.
I've been up here for 10 years. I can't say Parkville. Southwest corner, 635 and 9 Highway. It's across from Park Hills South High School. ADAfundraising.com is the web address. It is their yearly open house and sale. It's day 3 of 4. Tons of authentic hand-signed products, Chiefs, Royals, MU, K-State, Nebraska, KC Current. More on that in just a moment. And it's none of that machine-signed stuff you find elsewhere. These are hand-signed items that have been signed here. You get game-used bats from Sal Perez. Someone just bought that chest protector 10 minutes ago, so we did have 2 until that point. Bats from Bobby and Vinny, Brett and Bo. You can celebrate the Michael Garcia extension with a 2 baseball case signed, Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Garcia. I'm going to post that picture here in a moment. Helmets from Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs game-used jerseys. Tomorrow, special guest, Casey Current outside backer Ellie Wheeler will be here at 1 o'clock signing items, so don't miss that. Backed by popular demand, the Merry Christmas, the mystery Christmas bags, mini helmets, jerseys, baseballs. You never know what, but it's good. And this year, for the first time, college mystery bags, MU, KU, and K-State. And you can do good from somebody else this year, not just getting things for your friends, but helping out the community. Bring in non-perishable food, clothing, or personal hygiene items and get an entry into a drawing for 10 signed items that they'll be giving away. You can also donate money for entries into that drawing. Whatever the team, the fan on your list cheers for, you will find the perfect gift here at the ADA Open House and Year-End Sale, opened until 7 o'clock today, 10 to 5 tomorrow. Don't forget Ellie Wheeler at 1 o'clock. Authentic hand-signed products from every local team. Southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway across from Park Hill South High School in Parkville. Just look for the banners.
Great stuff. They do a fantastic job. Brad and his team are awesome, so it's a great place for you to do some holiday shopping. Danny Clinkscale is with us, little Danny Unleashed, here in the program.
I wonder if they have a Lane Thomas jersey.
You excited?
No, but I think it's I'm not going to get giddy about it, but I think if they find a left-handed bat to go along with that right-handed bat, I think it's a worthy signing at a reasonable price. The guy's had a great season in the major leagues. It fits in with the nice older profile we thought the Royals had, in the fact that he really never walks, but besides that, he's shown power, he's shown speed, he's a reasonably good outfielder. So as the lesser half of a platoon, I think that would be okay.
So the Royals today, you think the lead is Lane Thomas is signed?
No. Garcia.
But that's what you led with.
No, they already said, Kurtis already mentioned Michael Garcia.
Oh, I thought it said, let's see, it's your thought. You're like, well, Lane Thomas.
No, he'd already said that you can get an item from Michael Garcia celebrating his signing. No, the extension is far and away the bigger news.
Okay, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, we don't know the money.
So 57.5 with incentives that can take it to.
I didn't see that.
To 60. What is it? Let me look.
80, just over 80, almost 85.
Yeah, if he hits all his incentives and the option year, it would take it to 80. So it goes from 11 to 14. Is that what it is, Kurtis?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm not sure yearly, but the story from Andy Rogers just said the escalators could send it up to almost 85. So I just said over 80 in my sports center.
Yeah. I'll
I didn't see
put it together.
specifics on it.
I'll put it together. Well,
anyway,
I don't think I think it's just a matter of doing the math. I don't think
11 to 14 is fine.
Club option and escalator is 85. So it would go from it's 5 for 57.5 guaranteed, right? I have that right.
Yep.
And then it goes. Then it would go to 6 to 85, which would be 14
something.
14-1.
Right.
So
I think that's reasonable. I think there's, you want to have the player has to, get something, and there's some level of risk. He did have a bad season just 2 years ago, but he was excellent last year. He's a good defender, so even if his offense drops off a little bit, he's still a viable left side of the infield player. So I'm fine with it.
He's a Gold Glove third baseman and pretty good at short too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if Bobby goes down, then or needs a break, you've still got a guy who can play short. So he is more value than just his offense. But I do think that I think it would have been if you had gobs of money, you wait a year to sign him. But I think this is kind of I don't think Dayton Moore would have signed this. I think he just wanted to see one more year of offense the way he performed last year. I think this regime is more willing to say the analytics tell us he's going to be that. Let's try to get in now because we can save some money if we do it now. He gets guaranteed money now, but there's a little bit of risk because, like you said, he's had one top shelf offensive year.
Right, and he increased across the board, more power, more walks, less strikeouts. So, look at Lane Thomas, for instance. Michael Garcia's career profile could look like his, which is one great season, a couple other decent ones, a couple terrible ones, although plagued by injury. So, yeah, there's a little bit of risk there, but it's not. It's a lot of money for the Royals, but they could be saving money. If he runs out that same year again next year, then he would have been a $20 million player.
His season this past year is already better than any season Lane Thomas has ever had.
Yes.
By OPS standards.
Right.
I don't
a
know,
little bit less power. Yeah, he was in the. It was about the same.
plus.
His best OPS, Lane Thomas, is 790 something.
For the season, 123 was the OPS plus for Michael Garcia this past year, 115 in that 28 homer season back in 23 for Lane Thomas. But I don't mind Lane Thomas. I mean, what you like it or don't
I do like
it?
I do like it because I think. But the rest of it is up to the Royals. If he's your everyday player, I think there's
I don't think
a little dubious.
I think
he's a platoon.
He's the platoon for Caglione.
Right.
The everyday player is to be determined.
Yes.
Or he's the platoon with Michael Massey. I think one of the things we need to understand is, and Randy detailed this when we were talking on Monday night to get out of the way of the Chiefs on our podcast, that go try to find right-handed bats. Right? When they outlawed the shift, it made the left-handed bats much more valuable. And so it's now hard. The quantity of at-bats that are now taken up by left-handed hitters has gone way up because the shift had really taken away a lot of their effectiveness. Well, it's not there. And so left-handed bats are around. And so there just aren't that many. I mean, just look at what's available. What Knock Royals podcast when it's not baseball season. Trust me, I've grinded through the numbers. You're looking at it this is not a full shelf toy store. You're going to have to pick off what's on the shelves, and the shelves are picked over. They're not letting high caliber right-handed bats get there.
And that's probably why he got a pretty good amount of money for coming off
$5 million
for a disastrous year, 5 with incentives to 6.5.
Yeah,
that's
5.25.
That's pretty good money for a guy who just was awful last year, and the year before, really.
I mean. When Kyle Schwarber signing for $30 million.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's big money, but it's not like
I
a lot of
just
times
wanna,
a guy would be like, you get him for $1 million plus incentives. This is a reasonable amount of money.
Who's gotten that? Who's gotten $1 million plus incentives? I'm just curious. What? Give me an example of a player, because I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know
what I think. Yastrzemski made less than that last year. I think.
Did he? I mean, I don't.
No, he was on the last year. He was on the last year of
Yeah.
a multi-year contract.
I thought he was.
But what did he get the other day?
He got a deal. His deal is kind of interesting because it's 9, 10, and then a $4 million buyout or $7 million to keep him. So it's 3 for 21 or it's 2 for 27. So
Right.
it's 13.5 per if they only keep him for 2 years. And they're like, God, we want you to go away. If he's played well, it's 3 for 21.
Right, and he had a pretty darn good year last year.
So. Right. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. It's 3 for 9, 10, and 4 is 23. Yeah. So it's if he goes away, it's 2 for 23. So 11.5 per. If they keep him, then that number goes to 7, so it's 4 additional. So then it becomes 3 for 27. So it's $9 million per year over 3, or it's $11.5 million per year over 2.
Right. So
this is much less.
Yeah. Yes. But I'm just saying, this guy was like scrap heap. I mean, he hardly played last year, and the year before he wasn't much better. He hit a significant postseason home run, but
yes. Last year, 160.
Yeah, he was in and out. He had injuries
246,
all over the
272
place.
for a 518 over 39 games. A year before, 130 games, 237, 309, 400. But let's see what the splits are, because that's
his splits
clearly
are good.
That's clearly what they're thinking.
He hits lefties generally well. I think 290 career, I think.
Versus left-handers, 292, 359, 500. That's what he's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. But if he's goes out and has 500 at bats, and
well, you're in trouble.
Production's probably going to fall. Yeah, you've gotten in trouble.
To me, it'll be interesting to see, do they land the everyday outfielder? Because who is that guy? Who's the guy that goes with this?
It was Yastrzemski, but clearly he.
I don't think it was. I think Yastrzemski is just the heavy side of the platoon. If you had Yastrzemski, you'd still have Lane Thomas, and then you'd be looking. You decided we can't find an everyday guy, so we're going to put those two together. And so if you had $12 million next year and those two, or I guess it'd be what, 9? It'd be $14 million in those two. Would you be happy?
Yeah, I think I would.
For 14?
Yeah, because I think Yastrzemski brings a lot to the table. Now he's mid-30s. He could be the end of, and he had been a declining player until he prospered with the Royals. He was better with the Royals than he'd been the last couple of years, but that was with the Royals. That was who he was going to be with, and he's 35 years old. So, and he didn't come to the majors until he was 28, so it doesn't have that much mileage on him as far as major league play. But yeah, I would have been happy with that. A regular outfielder, if they both produced at their platoon side the way they can and have.
The way they have, not the way they can.
The way they
not their best year, just the way they have.
The way they have
would be a productive player.
That would be a good $14 million spent.
Yeah, the way it is, I think the hope is that they're going to find the everyday guy, but I don't know that they're going to find him. So I think the reality might end up being, unless the problem is everybody wants Brendan Donovan. I mean, I think that's the guy they'd like because he can also play second base. So it gives them insurance. And it gives them a bit of a platoon even there at second base where they can take India off the field. Donovan's left-handed, right? Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yes.
They can take India off the field against righties if they want to and play him there. But he can be your left fielder on most days. And then you get a platoon of Lane Thomas and Jack Caglione. And then if Jack Caglione blows up and you're playing him against lefties as well, then you've got Lane Thomas can just be on the other side of
I think you'd have to.
Massey plays?
I think you have to start off with Caglione in a strict platoon to get him some confidence and everything. And then you'd have to decide at some point, well, maybe he can. And then maybe start sprinkling him in sometimes against lefties and see if it carries over. Or if he doesn't do it, then you just go back to the platoon. So, I mean, I think for them to realize what they want to be offensively, then Caglione's a real key. And also, we've seen what was a very promising cameo from Carter Jensen. In many ways, he looks legit, but it's still a cameo.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, if those two,
I feel pretty good about Carter Jensen.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel better. Carter Jensen, like when you watch Jack Caglione, you're like, I can see why there's some problems. Right? That is a big cut.
Yep.
For a big guy. He is taking a big swing.
And Carter Jensen just looks hitterish.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about the Carter Jensen part of the equation.
Right, and if they were both good, at least good, then I think you're quite a ways there. You might not even have to have gotten that other piece. If those two guys are good, then I think the offense looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I do too. So I like what they're doing. I like where they're going. Getting Michael Garcia signed, I like that. I think the baseball side's humming along pretty good. I'm going to come back, and I know they didn't get to the playoffs. They had a winning season, but if you look back at what was available last year, they didn't go for Profar. That would have been a mistake. They didn't go for Santander. That would have been a mistake. The fact that they just left the gun in the holster last year has proven to have been the right decision. It would be great if they had their own guys in-house. That could have been the answer. But where is the big mistake since J.J. Piccolo took over?
Well, I don't know if it's a big mistake, but Hunter Renfroe?
Yeah, I think I think the Hunter Renfroe was somebody has to play. There was literally no one to play.
Right, but they picked the wrong guy. in the end. I mean, you're asking for a mistake. I guess that has to be tabbed a mistake. He wasn't good.
He had a moment in their run to the playoffs where he
had a solid first year. Nothing amazing.
I will agree to disagree, but I am not going to champion it as a success. They needed somebody to go out and play the spot.
If that's the big mistake, then that's not a bad big mistake.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And they weren't afraid to run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
When it didn't work, they pulled the ripcord. And I think that's an important part of the equation.
I think they are willing to, I think MJ Melendez would still be part of this organization under Dayton Moore.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, are you kidding me? Adalberto Mondesi'd still be here. What are you, kidding yourself? Let's take a break.
37-year-old.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Danny Klinksky, a little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Did you know that the most exclusive commercial roofing manufacturers in the country, Elevate, Gateco, Carlisle, JM, they always...
multiple
have
games
won more
there.
than once at Arrowhead.
Well, Philip Rivers did. I'm sure
6.
Dan Fouts did.
Dan Fouts?
7.
I was going to say, Chiefs are terrible.
Has Herbert done it? I don't think Herbert probably has.
He's got one.
He has.
Oh, he has? Okay, so Herbert. That's probably
One
it.
of those was the
I mean, John,
the big upset.
because like Hadel, I think Fouts takes us back to where the Chargers, but between Fouts and Hadel was like a carousel, right? And and Arrowhead wasn't even around much before Dan Fouts, so that's probably it. 3.
There are 4.
I always should tack one on. Damn it!
A guy whose name seems to get lost in the
Stan
Chargers
Humphries
shuffle for a guy who took them to the Super Bowl, Stan Humphries.
Stan Humphries. I love how. Can't you hear the satisfaction in Kurtis's voice that we missed Stan Humphries?
I thought
People
of Stan
also
Humphries,
forget that-
but I didn't think he got 2. I thought he was a starter for them for like a year, and they went to the Super Bowl. That's my memory
He was
of
there a
Stan
little bit,
Humphries.
I think he won here in '94 and again in '96. People forget that Herbert. They remember the surprising win earlier in the season against Mahomes, but people forget that he won the finale in 2020 when the Chiefs sat everyone because they'd already locked it up.
Just gave away.
Wasn't against Pat, but it counts.
Just gave away some wonderful Nick and Jake's. We were just over at Nick and Jake's, thanks to Kevin and Jen, Kevin Timmons, Jen Timmons. Great hosts yesterday as we were over there helping out with our friends from the Autism Resource Center, and had a great time, as we always do at Nick and Jake's. And by the way, you can still donate if you want. Nick and Jake's social media platforms, you can donate there, or go to aarckc.com. That's the Autism Resource Center, the only autism center for adults, and they've got so many great programs thanks to everyone that was over there with us. Nicole Schroeder, who is the executive director, we talked with her. You can check it out right now, and if you donate right now, you're eligible all the way up until the 21st to win great prizes at Nick and Jake's, including a big booze basket, basket full of all kinds of fine liquors, a $100 Nick and Jake's gift card, 2 Kansas City footballs. You know what I mean by that. Go check it out. And while you're there, I don't know, get the gourmet burger of the week, the Steakhouse Wagyu Burger. 8-ounce Wagyu burger patty from Snake River Farms, onion and poppy seed bun, mayo, spring mix, tomato, blue cheese crumbles, bacon, house-made steak sauce, and crispy onion straws. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. Always at Nick and Jake's. Curtis Seaboldt up at ADA, as we, of course, go up there once a year. Once a year, they open the doors, so you can go say hi to Curtis if you'd like. He's right there at the southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway. A little Danny Unleashed going on right now. Danny, where do you sit on the Chiefs? Are we going to see a spirited effort?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a spirited effort, but I could see, I don't think this is going to happen because I think they're going to win the game, but if they get punched in the mouth early, there might be some deflation here, because they seemed like they'd the season was over when they lost last week. It seemed to be the reaction in the locker room from the comments of the players that all is kind of lost.
That's why I took the Chargers. I think everybody is, the spread has gone up, and I think everybody's just like, Scott Van Pelt took the Chiefs in the points, and he has not been good this year. By the way, he did it comedically, celebrating his 2-1 week from the week before.
Right.
He goes, I started the week 0-1, but I rallied, got red hot to finish 2-0. So it was. I always enjoy that segment of his. But
winners.
I was like, I had already set myself all week that like everyone's going to say the Chiefs are dead. They're going to love the Chargers for the gutty win against the Eagles on Monday night, and everyone's going to be on the Chargers, so I'm going to be on the Chiefs. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody's on the Chiefs. We all keep bringing ourselves back around to the Chiefs. And I'm done. I was done with Houston. I'm not getting back on that bandwagon again this year. I don't. They'll need to be a dog in a game before I go, yeah, let me put some money on them.
I see the point. I said it last week that I'm a logical man. I should be picking the Chiefs to lose this game, and I didn't do it. And it really is the same scenario here, but I think the Chargers are on a short week. they acted like that was one magnificent win last week. They really celebrated it. Jim Harbaugh called it like the birth of a child and all this. They're on a short week. They've traveled both weeks. No, that's right. Short week, but they have to travel. It's a noon game. There's a lot of things playing against it. And but I think this game is up to the Chiefs' defense. I think the Chargers will put up a good defensive showing in this game. The Chiefs' offense, I don't have confidence in right now, but I can see the Chiefs.
It's going to be the backup offensive lineman. There's going to be no Hollywood Brown,
right? I think that they could really create a rough day for Herbert, who is compromised. I mean, he only threw for 150 yards. I mean, he was gutty and he ran for 80 or something, but
66, I think.
Yeah, but quite a few.
Counting.
Yep, and.
Those of us who played him in fantasy football.
So I think if the Chiefs are going to win, it's going to be something like 20-16 or something like that.
That was my pick on the score. I took the Chiefs like 20-16, but I really think it. I'm not going to be shocked if they lose the game.
No, I am not going to be shocked at all. In fact, I'm not going to be shocked if it looks like afterwards we're saying, the Chiefs, the life was out of them. They just didn't have it anymore. They were killed off last week. I mean, you can dress it up any way you want, but that we keep saying they got to do this. By the way, this will now be the first year in the last 12 years where they haven't won 5 games in a row because they can't. Well, in the regular season, and they needed to do that, but they especially needed it because it was the Texans. Now, so many things have to go right. I mean, we were all talking about the Chargers are 9-4. The Chiefs are tied with the Dolphins. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's not good. But as you made a good point earlier, though, it was the fact that if this is a disaster, then we're all spoiled.
Yes.
It's not horrendous. They've lost several close games, and they're 6-7, and they're mathematically alive, and it's the middle of December. So the question is this sort of the start of a lackluster period for the Chiefs overall? That's the thing. And I was asked by somebody during the course of the week whether they should, quote unquote, like blow it up. The NFL has so much change that you don't really have to do that much to create a significant shift in your roster. I guess the blow it up part would be, we don't care about the money. We're walking on Chris Jones. We need restructuring this. We're not going to Travis wave goodbye. I guess that would be sort of a sea change just because they're big names. But there's such roster turnover in the NFL anyway that the Chiefs will have a significantly different looking team. Now, the receiver core is young. That probably will look somewhat the same. But elsewhere, there could be a lot of change just by natural attrition of the National Football League.
Yeah, I think there always is attrition, but there wasn't enough attrition this past year.
Agreed.
Part of the reason there wasn't was because they handicapped themselves against the cap, right? There just wasn't that much they could do. I want to change gears here real quick, and I'm trying to retweet this, but, why would any company leave alone something that works? And so Twitter has done everything they can to be. You've heard about Kurtis's trials and tribulations?
Well, mine were worse, so you don't have to.
Yeah, but you still have yours.
Oh, I didn't have it for almost 2 months.
Well, Kurtis's is gone.
Well, he can probably find a way to restructure it. But anyway.
Pete Thamel is reporting that Kyle Whittingham has stepped down. There's also a report out there that the Missouri offensive coordinator, Moore, is going to be hired as the Washington State head coach. I'm going to tackle either one of those. Whittingham, they've got their successor in waiting. The defensive coordinator's going to step in and be him, so that doesn't do anything. And, by the way, we've got Sharon Moore and the Michigan job open.
Oh, my God. Let's just not even talk about that poor situation.
I mean,
that was awful. I mean, the whole thing's awful.
It's terrible.
On multiple levels.
I don't have a strong interest in getting into the
because there's a lot of things we don't know.
Yes.
Well, we do know that it is a horrible personal situation on multiple levels for multiple people.
Yes. But Pete Thamel reporting Washington State has targeted Missouri offensive coordinator Kirby Moore to be the school's next coach. The sides are working toward a deal. It's expected to come together today. former wide receiver at Boise and former Fresno OC. So,
I think that's, Eli Drinkwitz is an offensive coach. Yes, he's supposedly doesn't really call the plays, as it were, but I think he has plenty of his hands on the offense. So I don't think that's any kind of really super significant loss for Missouri. Good for him.
Well, he's got the ammunition to hire a good one.
Oh.
Like, he should not be spending $200,000 on an OC.
No,
he's got a $16 million budget.
He can write his own check for a little extra if need be with that grossly fat contract he's got.
Have you heard the details? Did you know that with every 8-win season, he gets another year and a $200,000 raise?
Yeah, boy.
Which, let's be honest, though.
They're going to 9.
Let's be honest. $200,000 is not even a cost of living raise.
No, it's not.
Think about that. That's how big his contract is.
Right.
That getting a $200,000 raise. Standard cost of living is 3%.
If his agent was smart, he should have just said a percentage and hoped that they didn't really do the math.
His agent has him making $11.4 million in the final year of a guaranteed deal. The last thing I would say about his agent is that he's not smart.
No, I didn't say he wasn't smart, but if he could have boondoggled the other side by just saying we'll take an 8% rate, but when they say 200,000, well, that's chicken feed. But if they said some percentage, like just a little bit, like 12, the amount is so big that it would have been a lot of money.
I want to be clear. Because it's based upon the year they add on. So the year before he's making $11.4 million. The $200,000 raise is only a 1.75%
That's what I said.
increase. I mean, it is. Look, cost of living is 3%, right?
They should have said we want a 12% raise. Now, well, that doesn't sound like that much, and it would have been over $1 million or about $1 million. That's what he should have done. But like I said, yeah,
he needs a $342,000 raise just to keep up with the standard inflation.
Yeah, it's rough times at the Drinkwitz house.
I think it's fantastic.
Bad patch for Eli.
I just love that the guy gets a $200,000 raise, and it's like, he's going to have to. Cut back on the spending.
8 wins is going to be harder.
It is with 9 conference games.
They're going to play 9 conference games. You probably are going to have to have a winning record in the conference.
I don't have a problem with the deal at all. They like him. He likes Mizzou.
They've got the money. I'm just saying it's a landscape that is stupid when you're trying to put together a roster and pay players.
But that's the thing is, like, I think the underreported part of the story is how much money Mizzou has, because they threw in $16 million for the staff, and then there's another $14 million. There's $14 million more for the support staff. I need to get those details out because I don't want to be talking out of my rear end here and overstating it. But here, I can scroll through it. It's on our topic sheet here. Hang on. It is because I think didn't we say there's $51 million before you even get to the roster? Maybe I've got that backwards. I need.
Anyway, they have a lot of money, and they can afford to pay him that. It's just that it's just an excellent time to be a college football coach. You don't have to do that much to get an extension and a raise, and then if you get fired, you get a sweetheart deal no matter what you did.
Right.
Off the field, on the field, whatever. Unless you just turn into a felon like Sharon Moore.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. More with Danny Klingsky, a little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing.
The program with Soren Petro.
I pee my pants.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. This Miss Tickets for Less is giving fans. Us, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Holiday lights, yes. Siding, yes. And, of course, the best roofing company in Kansas City. It's Easton Roofing. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. You can find them online at eastonroofing.com. Curtis up at 88 Fundraising. The doors are open. They only do it once a year, folks, so take advantage of it. Game model bats from Bobby Wood Jr., George Brett, Vinny Pasquantino, Bo Jackson. If you have got a sports fan on your shopping list, get to 88 today and tomorrow, because after that, you can't go. So take advantage of it right now at ADA. So, Danny, what do you think of what's going to happen the rest of the year with the Chiefs? We talk about the Charger game. The rest of the year, the whole thing going to get mailed in?
Nah, I think that they're going to win. It's almost impossible not to win the 2 games against the other opponents. They're dreadful. I won't even make it. I watched a Wolverhampton Premier League game the other day, and they haven't won a game yet. So it's like I texted my sister and I said, "You can consider," because she always said, "Which games have you watched? What should I watch?" And I say, "You can consider any Wolverhampton game unwatchable." So those 2 teams in the NFL are Wolverhampton.
It might not just be them, the Giants.
Yeah.
And
so the Chiefs will probably win those games. That'll feel good. Whether their season will be looked at, if they lose the other 2 games, then they're going to be a losing team, which probably you would think they'd have some sense of pride in that. Now, they could be playing the Broncos when the Broncos don't have anything to play for, but with only one number 1 seed, probably depends on whether they have no chance to get the number 1 seed in that game.
the bigger fear is the Chargers getting the Broncos, because they need the Chargers to lose to the Broncos.
Right.
That's the bigger fear.
Yeah, until the Chiefs win Sunday, I'm not even going to talk about their playoff chances anymore. I think they're so small that, yes, win the game and still hope for the miracle. If you're a fan, why wouldn't you do that?
I agree. If they win the game, okay.
Yeah.
But right now, no point even talking about it.
It's good. I think it's good. It's a 1:00 game. But Christmas, if they lose this game, who's going to show up on Christmas?
No one.
I mean, it's going to be give your tickets away.
All right, before Witten Garcia, what was the last shortstop, third base duo to be all-stars for the Royals?
Second half of the program begins right now. We're going around the country, 2 minutes at a time, talking to the people, covering the stories where they're happening. Going to hit Philadelphia, at least scheduled to hit Philadelphia, Atlanta, New Orleans. First, though, let's talk to Kurtis Seaboldt. He is out and about at ADA. Only one time a year, Kurtis, those doors are open at ADA Fundraising. They're open for you today.
They are. It's their yearly open house and sale. Tons of authentic hand-signed products. All the local teams, all the local schools. Helmets from Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs game-used jerseys. Game-used bats from Salvi. Bats from Bobby and Vinny and Brett and Bo. Special guest tomorrow, KC Current outside backer Ellie Wheeler will be here signing autographs. 1 o'clock, so be here. Also, bring in non-perishable food and clothing or personal hygiene items and get an entry into a drawing for 10 signed items that they'll be giving away. It's the ADA Open House and year-end sale until 7 o'clock today, 10 to 5 tomorrow, southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway, across from Park Hills South High School. Just look for the banners.
Yep, we'll see. You'll see. You will see. We will see. Well, I would see it too if I were there. But all kinds of great items that'll be perfect on your holiday purchasing list. They do a great job up there. Brad and his team are outstanding. So go see them. You got today and tomorrow, and then that's it. The doors are closed. ADA-fundraising.com. Let's get things started. Here we begin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where our man Eitan Shander, Fox 29, and OddShopper.com is. Eitan, how are you, buddy?
Soren, doing fantastic, my friend. Hope all is well with you and yours.
Yeah, everything's good. Where are we at on Jalen Hurts? Is the sky falling? Are you trying to cut him in Philadelphia? We know how those fans get.
Yeah, I know how the fans get. I know how the bozos here on the radio get. So I try to keep people calm in the 8 minutes that I have available to me on television. I think, as we've seen far too often in the NFL, it's rarely one person. And if you are hamstrung as a quarterback, look, I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. If you have Kevin Petro and Nick Sirianni in charge of game planning and ultimately executing and adjusting in the game, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It may look a little better, but it's not going to look Hall of Fame level. So what's happened now is everybody's tight. Everybody's feeling like they have to do too much. Everybody is just so nervous about making the next mistake. From Petro, Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, even when somebody has a good game in the box score, it's not enough. And there are moments in which a drop or just somebody checks out, bad penalties on offense. Now the defense has to basically limit a team to 17 points a game in order to stay in a football game. It's absurd. And this all started because the Emperor has no clothes at the NovaCare Center. Nick Sirianni has no idea what he's doing, and this is now the ramifications of it.
He is the defending Super Bowl champ, though, right?
Well, okay. Hold on a second. Let me ask you. Is win-loss truly? It's not a pitcher stat. It's not a quarterback stat. And I think Nick Sirianni is proof positive. They were comparing him to Andy Reid, to Bill Belichick, to Bear Bryant, Soren. Come on.
Yeah, that's a little bit rich, a little bit early on that. But, I look, he annoys me. I think he's a ticking time bomb. He wouldn't be my first choice to be my head coach, but he's done something right. And I know they've done a lot right on the personnel side, and I'm fine if you want to weight that more. But I don't care. He's maybe Philadelphia is a team that should only have a coach for 5 or 6 years. Maybe that's the key.
No. We need a guy who can step in and stop something. We need a guy who can adjust. Nick Sirianni was stripped of play calling duties, and then earlier in the week, before the most previous game, it was like, oh, well, he's going to have to step in and help Kevin Petro. What world am I living in here?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But the next 4 games, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders, we think they're probably going to be 11-6. They're definitely going to win the NFC East. The question will be, do they do any damage once they get to the postseason? Over the horizon, is this the way it's going with A.J. Brown his last year?
I don't know. I think, to be honest, here's what you look at. The Philadelphia Eagles don't like egg in their face. The Philadelphia Eagles don't like to be the butt end of jokes. And if it's Nick Sirianni, Kevin Petro, or A.J. Brown, somebody is going to be the fall guy for this year, and it sure as hell is not going to be Jalen Hurts. It's not going to be Nick Sirianni at the end of the year unless they lose 2 of 4, maybe even 3, what have you. But I think it's going to come down to either Kevin Petro is just flat out gone or A.J. Brown is gone as a result. And I say that because if Petro does, somehow gets this Giants job or what have you, fails upwards, and they bring in somebody new, somebody fresh, I think they look at the roster and say, okay, it's worth it to run it back. I personally do not believe, based on everything I know, Soren, I personally do not believe that there is some sort of massive, rift, if you will, between the A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts contingent. I just don't think it's that bad to where it's you're irreplaceable or irreparable.
All right, we'll see.
Terrible.
Yeah, we'll see where.
Works.
Yeah, I hear you. We'll see how they finish up, and that'll probably tell us a lot about where they go next year. Kyle Schwarber, 56 homers. You know what it's worth? $30 million a year. 5 for 150. Listen, I love Kyle Schwarber. Back when he was signing for 1 for 10 with the Nationals, I really wanted to see him in a Royals uniform. I think he's totally worth that for the Phillies because he's a Philly now, right? But there is probably an understanding that the last year, 2 years of this are kind of a donation just to keep him in a uniform now, or no? Do they think he's actually going to be productive for 5 full seasons?
Yes, you're right. Long story short is those last 2 years, maybe a year, just not going to yield what you're paying for. But I heard a former colleague of mine, Steve Phillips, actually talk about this, about how if you are another team, you do the same thing. And he would have absolutely done the same thing if he were a squad in the Schwarber sweepstakes. So it's a no-brainer if you look at it from the outside, where teams or former general managers are saying, yeah, absolutely, Schwarber, it's worth that throwaway year, if you will. Look, the Phillies had no choice. They had no choice. Kyle Schwarber was more valuable, especially when Zach Wheeler got hurt. Kyle Schwarber was more valuable than anybody in this baseball team, from Dombrowski to Harper. It's Kyle Schwarber. And you know what? If those last 2 years he's sitting there like Ryan Howard was following that devastating injury, just doing absolutely nothing, I still stand by the statement now that the first 4 years of this deal are worth it.
The Sixers, why are they contending? What's going on here?
Okay, a couple of things. Tyrese Maxey is really him. Like, Tyrese Maxey is going to be talked about as a first, second All-NBA team for the rest of his formidable career. That's keeping the Sixers in contention because he's just so damn good. The other part of it is that teams around, Boston clearly with the injuries, there isn't really Indiana taking a step back. They're like a 7.5 point favorite tonight. So the East, there are good teams in the East, but it's not as heady as it was, and it's allowing a team like the Sixers to kind of stay relevant. If you want to bet, I would look at the odds of the Sixers to miss the playoffs because you can probably get some good odds on that, and I think they're probably not long if Embiid and George are not consistently out there.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like right now.
And you can get knocked out of the play-in and still miss the playoffs just for a qualifier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A long way to go. A lot of basketball to be played, but interesting where they're at right now, and I do agree with you. It speaks to how good Maxey is. That's the real statement here.
Amazing.
Great stuff. Eitan Shander in Philadelphia. We appreciate it. Have a great week, my friend.
You too, Soren. Thank you, sir.
What are you doing, Kyle? What are you doing? Stop pressing the buttons over there. I got it. Eitan Shander in Atlanta. We're streaming, so everyone knows I really screwed it up. Fat fingered the buttons. Chris Domino, 6'8". What I said, we're going to Atlanta.
Yeah, it was such a
I did?
show.
Well, I'm flustered. Chris Domino, 680 The Fan in Atlanta, Georgia, is next now that my stubby little fingers have finally gotten the right button. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, chubby little digits, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was such a perfect show right up until that moment.
It was. It was perfect. It was going to be, one for the ages, and then I botched it right there. So, my bad. How about the Falcons? Where was this inspired play for the last couple of months that we saw last night?
Yeah, I got to be honest. It wasn't inspiring. I mean, I guess it didn't roll over. They had 19 penalties. I mean, this was a team that was on a 1-5 skid in Tampa, and boy, did they look like it. And finally, it looked like the guy on the other sidelines was just as dumb as the guy that's been on our sideline now for a couple of years. And you understand what happened in this game, right? You understand why they had to kick a field goal, or at least in part?
Well, are you talking about the fact that the Tampa couldn't do anything, that they just sat there and they played for the win, leaned for the tape at 28-14, dueling defensive coaches?
Yeah, part of it. But the other part was it was 28-20 because my coach decided in the fourth quarter of a 28-14 game,
going for two.
When they got a touchdown, he went for two. Then in the postgame,
go ahead.
He was going to be right. I think he thought because they won, he wasn't going to be asked about this. When asked about it, I swear you can find the clip. He dropped three obviously. Obviously, what we were doing was three obviously when nobody in the world believes anything was obvious except you kick an extra point. So it's mind-numbing what goes on around here. Well, and my problem, go ahead.
Well, what did he say? What behind it? Because I'm going to tell you there is, and we haven't seen it for a few years, but the analytics community will tell you that you go because the 2-point conversion's at 52%. Right. And so you go for it because if you get it, then you can kick the extra point for the win.
Sure. And that's what he said.
And if you don't get it, then you come back and go for two, which theoretically, again, at 52%, you're likely to get, and you're still at the same place you'd be for kicking the extra point. And that statistically, you're a little bit better because the extra point's longer, and now instead of it being 99, it's like 95%.
Okay. You got a guy in Kirk Cousins who can't move. And you're going to run a 2-point play twice. They were 0 for 2 on this 52% analytical world. It makes no... Listen, they got lucky. And he was like, let me tell you why I did this. As if they had talked about this or between, the 15 minutes before he went to the... The problem is, I say this all the time, Sunday's postgame, now Thursdays, then 2 days later on Monday, they lose not just on Sunday, they lose during the week when everybody around there speaks, including mostly the head coach. To drop three obviously's on me to talk about how you're going to walk it off with an extra point when you have no idea what's really going to happen in the game. And by the way, you stink. And you're telling me how you're going to get a touchdown and just walk it off with an extra point because Lord knows we scored to the tune of 50 or 55 around here, which is absurd. The nonsense that comes. So here's my problem. It's supposed to be fait accompli. It's 2 years. Now I'm hearing, the last guy, Arthur Smith, got 3. And then you got to think about this. There's nothing to think about except on a night like last night when you realize their head coach is every bit as dumb, if not dumber. Think about this. They win divisions. And this game last night meant more for Tampa until people in our town start to go, you don't think this means he's going to get an exit interview or he's going to get a chance to talk about how he should stay. And that's the problem. That game had no import until you realize this might be win a battle, lose a war. And the idea of the next 3 games, they just lost last week. They've lost enough for the last 2 years. Of course he's supposed to be done. He picked a terrible defensive coordinator. He picked a terrible offensive coordinator. Special teams is the worst in NFL. And I'm going to tell you, maybe it's the worst in the last 25 years. And I want to say history. The special teams is atrocious. You hired the guy. You fired a wide receiver coach in week 2, but you kept the special teams coach on. Coming out of that game, I'm telling you, the panic that I have that we're just going to try to do this over again with Arthur Blank making decisions, Rich McKay lurking in the weeds and the shadows, whatever goes on with the GM goes on with the GM. And we might have another year of, but wait, they won 2 of their last 5 games. Arrow up. Let's go do it again. And it's, I'm not infuriated by it. I'm like numb. Like you ever have a body part that had nerve damage? Eventually you're not in pain. You're just numb.
Right.
It just doesn't feel the way it's supposed to. That's how I feel. Although I will tell you last night, while it was a train wreck of a game, 19 penalties. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost a game where they're fighting for the playoff life, where they out-penaltied you. They were a plus 15 in penalties and still lost. Go look that one up in the history of the NFL. 15 more penalties from our idiots, and then they still lost the game. So their coach stinks. They're not a very good team. But you were so bad that you were eliminated before you even got to this game. So what am I supposed to take out of all this last night?
Yeah, well, what I think is amazing is they were actually eliminated last week, but they could finish with the same record as the division winner, right? Yeah. That's something that could happen. They can't get beyond them because of tiebreakers, but and Carolina and Tampa play each other twice and all that. But yeah, that would be the I do think if you're gonna you can't make the decision based upon we tied for the division lead.
No way.
They lost on tiebreakers. It needs to be we were eliminated with 4 weeks to go, right?
And by the way, you lost to the Jets, and the teams that you lost to, look, they beat Buffalo, and they were hanging a hat on beating Buffalo. If you want to tell me you beat Tampa as part of that 1A to beating Buffalo, you're insane. Tampa is not good. They're on one of the terrible down ticks where I think their head coach is going to lose his job as well, even winning divisions. And I got to sit in a town where my team is 8 years in a row without going to the postseason, which is impossible, yet it's happened. And you're going to tell me that in an exit interview with the guy who hired Arthur Smith, the owner of the team. And by the way, I don't take personal shots at Arthur Blank. I used to have a nice relationship with him, a really good one. I don't anymore, but I don't care about that. He's not supposed to pick the head coach. He's not supposed to pick the GM. He's not supposed to decide if a head coach or a GM should keep their job, because even if he says they lose their job, he's going to pick the next head coach and GM. The cycle here is we got to break the chain. You know, they got to say this is generational now, brother. We got to break the chain. I'm telling you what he needs to do, and nobody really cares. There needs to be a public transference of power. Well, I don't want Arthur Blank to sell the team. It's his team. But he's got to have, if it's his son, Josh, and he does have a smart son, he can hand the team over, put a business guy next to him. But you got to go get Les Snead or Howie Roseman and make them the czar of everything and pay him more money than any executive's ever gotten paid, and then say Rich McKay is nowhere in the building, his key card has been taken away, and Arthur Blank is now relinquishing the idea and duty of picking head coaches and GMs to the guy that's sitting at that dais.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
That's what has to happen.
Yeah, I think change will come, but you got to get it right. You hit upon that.
Oh, I'm nervous now. I'm not sure it's coming.
Kyle Pitts, why isn't he better like this more of the time? Like what?
Funny you should bring that up. The thing I took away is I was going to bed very late last night after watching all the postgame. They might just give everybody an extension. They might give Raheem Morris an extension. They might give Kirk Cousins more money. They might say Kyle Pitts for 1 game in 5 years. 1 game in 5 years. They might give him an extension. That's the things that I'm nervous about. I went to bed last night thinking they might be so full of themselves and smelling themselves, everybody might get an extension. Kyle Pitts has been a bust. A bust. So he has a big game, and I'm supposed to go, look, there it is. Well, this is 5 years in. 5 years in. And I have a feeling, and I'm really nervous about this one, they're gonna re-up him. They're gonna extend him. He can walk away, go get money from someplace else, go steal from somebody else, and he has been a felon here. He's been a felon. I got Bijan Robinson on TV last night saying, I talked to him and told him, you just got to believe in God, and then things are going to happen. With all the stuff he's been through. He had a knee injury, like 9,000 people before him in this league had a knee injury. What am I supposed to think? That a guy has 1 game, and everybody who wants to. See? I told you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't envy you, the position you're in. Real quick, just Mike Yastrzemski, 2 for 23 or 3 for 27 is what that deal will ultimately end up being. Do you like the deal?
So I like the guy. I like what they're doing because they're not going to buy. Look, I wanted Schwarber Alonso. I would have taken Eugenio Suarez just to be, as they call him, a big hairy DH. Just write him in. I think they're going to go with the 4 outfielder, Profar, Yastrzemski, Harris, Acuna. One will sit, one will DH, and I think that's what they're going to do. I like it. I know he's a good enough, certainly, outfielder. Right field here in this place, and you guys saw it in the 50 games. He hit 9 home runs in 50 games. He found his power in the ballpark here is even better than yours. So that works. That plays. And everything you hear about the guy is he's fantastic in every way, shape, and form. He did say, when somebody asked him, what did they tell you about playing time? He stopped the question guy short, and he just said, we didn't get into that. We did not get into that. I believe that I have an ability. I believe they wouldn't be signing me to this deal unless they were going to use me, and I'm going to go from there. And it was kind of nice. From what I gather, he's not necessarily a BSer. I sort of enjoyed I want to be there. They have a chance to win. The park looks good for me. The people that I've heard about who are in the organization feel like they're my type of people. Deal done. And I can roll with that. It's not 30 home runs, pencil it in. It's not. We know that. But I don't think they were going to spend the money that would have taken to get one of those guys in here. So it looks like a DH by committee.
Chris Domino in Atlanta. Great stuff as always, my friend. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right, Soren. Thank you.
It's that New Orleans.
Gus Cattingill, Pelicans Radio in New Orleans, Louisiana's next. Gus, how are you, sir?
Hey, man. How you doing today?
7 for 91. I'm not doing as well as Lane Kiffin is, but he doesn't even know how much he makes. I saw that press conference. Not even aware of how much money he makes. Did he win the press conference?
I think whether or not he won the press conference or not, I think LSU fans are probably happy. Thank you. That are just that he's, I think, finally the coach in the saga is over, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, it does. And listen, you can't knock the resume. Lots of other people would like to have him. But, man, he's a goof.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and he's one of the things that, in terms of the press conference, he says the right thing, says obviously that it matters to him and it means a lot to him. And I think he whether or not he wins the press conference, he definitely wins the social media, right? I mean, he immediately starts tweeting pictures of the Heisman and tweeting pictures of all the different things and hashtagging LSU was different.
Yeah. No, listen, again, he was the best candidate available. He was the most successful coach to move. So LSU got their guy. Now, what are the expectations? What does he have to do to make him happy?
Man, when you pay what you did and you pay the way that you did not only for him but his assistants, that pretty much makes it seem to me like you got to win, more than one national championship, right? I mean, obviously we were talking, I think the last time you and I talked about that it was going to be one of the areas where you have to, somehow, some way win a national championship, but now you're going to have to win, I think, 3? I mean, when you're paying the offensive coordinator $3 million and things like that, I think the expectation level is almost unheard of, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. And what are the early returns on the recruiting? I mean, there's always that moment when somebody leaves. Okay, now here we go. Like, are we seeing immediate dividends?
I think the fact that you saw a couple of those top blue chippers and, the guys that the number one defensive player, come into you, I think that's exactly what you probably paid for, right? If that makes any sense. And look, at the end of the day, just a couple of recruiting cycles ago, you thought Bryce Underwood was going to be that guy, right? And then he winds up going to Michigan. So who knows where it all winds up going, but I guess it's a good start.
Yeah, but I think you might be right back in on him, right? Like that, with everything that's happening at Michigan, maybe he turns around, does an about-face, and comes back your way. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Zion is hurt again. You're seeing Derek Queen have success. Like, I don't know. Where do you go next? Like, where is this it? Finally enough and time to move on from Zion, or do you just keep running him out there?
This. I think you're seeing everyone in the organization and you're seeing everyone in town and the fan base, man, get behind these two rookies, right? And I'll throw in Micah Peavy, too. I know he's a second-round pick, but he's solid defensively, solid offensively, and I think that's just your movement, man. I think from transitioning over to James Borrego, the offense in the last 5 games, I mean, you're scoring 120, 130, 140 points. You were struggling to get to 100 under Willie Green. And then you are starting to see the semblance of a defense, starting to come together. I think it's a mess from this standpoint. The roster that you built was based around a player that doesn't play for you, and you don't know if the franchise is going to pivot from him, and that's Zion Williamson, right? A roster that you would need to help or to utilize the best of their abilities of Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen maybe isn't exactly that roster right now. I mean, I'm looking at the game last night. Jordan Hawkins got in quote-unquote garbage time in the final minute of the game, and he was a first-round pick. Carlo Makovich, a couple other players, too, that you probably needed and used if Zion was your main focus, aren't the players that you're using right now in your minutes. So I think that's the thing. What is your identity? Who are you going with? And I think by de facto, by their play, by the response of the Pels fan base, it's Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. So where does that go? I don't know. I mean, I will say this. The last 2 games, you set franchise records in points in the paint, an 84 and an 88 last night, and Zion Williamson didn't play.
Yeah. No, it's significant. To me, the path is set. Like, they know what they have to do, and it's time to get to it. The Saints, are we seeing progress? They got a win, and an unlikely win recently. Do you see progress? And I know the main thing is to flush through some of these contracts, but are you seeing some progress there with at least some of the players that might be around for a few years?
I would say from this standpoint, I think you have at least a starting quarterback, right? I'm short in saying franchise quarterback because obviously we don't know that much yet and have to see it. But if you're ready to say, hey, Jackson Dart's your guy for the Giants, I mean, I would say almost comparably maybe what Tyler Shough did this past game. Now, let's see it put together a couple times. But I would say maybe there's some talent in New York. The Saints need so many aspects on their side. I would argue a number one receiver. I would argue a run game. I would argue an offensive line. There's a lot of different things. So I needed to see, for me to say I'm comfortable in not saying next year with the third pick, the fourth pick, the fifth pick of the NFL draft, the New Orleans Saints select quarterback so-and-so. Can he, A, elevate players around him, or just win the darn game himself? That's what franchise quarterbacks do, right? Sometimes if you don't have a line, you don't have a receiver, they make plays that other quarterbacks or position players don't do and elevate your team and put them in position to win. He did that at Tampa Bay. Now, I heard your previous caller. I get it. Tampa blew that game last night, and they were going down, but you still have to go make the plays and win. And they did that against Tampa. He did that. 2 key runs, 2 key throws. He did that. Now, can you come do that this week? Panthers need that game so they can get to the playoffs, right? I mean, it's a playoff kind of game for them. You haven't had meaningful football in kind of a while in the Dome and make it worth your while. Go play the part of spoilers. Show me, hey, if these are the teams that are at the top of the division and playing for it, where are you? Give me a reason to believe that you can be in the mix next year. Right now, I think he's a starter. I think it allows you next year to get the best position player wherever you pick, because they need everything. You need receivers, you need defensive line, you need everything. But I would say there's progress based on that. I do think you have a legit NFL starting quarterback, maybe possibly a franchise.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ed, because after the Panthers, Jets, at Titans, at Falcons. I mean, there's some wins to be had there with those opponents, and so you could play your way out of whoever the top quarterback or two is. Sure. And so, I agree. He's earned the right to keep trying to prove it. That's what he's earned. But he has not been a disaster. So we'll see where it goes. Great stuff. We always appreciate it. Gus Kettengill in New Orleans. Have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take care. Have a happy weekend, y'all.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk some Chiefs football. First, I'll let you know, we got our buddy Kurtis. He is up at ADA. They only open the doors once a year. That time is now. So if you're looking for game-used items from Salvador Perez, game model bats from Bobby Witt, George Brett, Vinny Pasquantino. How about some game model helmets from Patrick Mahomes? Chiefs game, used jerseys. How about the fact that they're going to have Casey Current outside backer Ellie Wheeler there tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Today and tomorrow only, you can get to ADA. They're at the southwest corner of 635 and 9 Highway, right across from Park Hill South High School. Just look for the banners. You can't miss it. You'll find the perfect gift for any sports fan on your list. Kurtis is there. We've also got Stephen St. John. If you're out and about, Stephen St. John is live at the all-new Atlas 9. It's an amazing interactive museum located right by the Legends. They're at 1100 North 98th Street in KCK. The first 15 people to go by and see Stephen receive a free ESPN T-shirt. Stop by and see Stephen. He'll be there till 6 o'clock today. It's Atlas 9, Stephen St. John, holding court, as only Stephen can do. 1100 North 98th Street. If you're in KCK, get over there. First 15 people get an ESPN T-shirt. Stephen St. John at Atlas 9, 1100 North 98th. Let's welcome Todd Lebo to the festivities. Todd, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing all right. It seems like everyone at our station is out working. Nobody with the Chiefs is playing this weekend, though, so it's different.
Yeah, lay out the latest. We touched on it a little bit with Danny, but lay out the latest injury report.
Hollywood Brown is listed as out with a personal injury, not personal issue, not injury. He did not practice today. Was a limited participant yesterday. Wanya Morris, we know, is out. He's hurt. Juwan Taylor did not practice today, out. And Trey Smith, who practiced earlier in the week, did not practice today, and he is out. So there you go. Then you're going to look at the same offensive line you saw finish the game last week, according to Andy Reid, and we'll see how that goes. Now, listen, the thing that I ask a lot out there is kind of what you're seeing attitude-wise out of these guys, because this is uncharted territory for these guys on this team. Maybe some of these guys played for other teams where they were, in the hunt or out of the playoffs or whatever. But if you've been on the Chiefs, this is not how December has gone for you. Andy Reid said today that he likes what he's seen on the practice field and the meeting rooms this week.
Like the way they've gone about their business. They've worked hard this week, and like they always do. I mean, they put forward an effort to get themselves better, and that's all you can expect from a head coach.
So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be tough sledding. I mean, they've had a struggle to try to win games the last couple of weeks, and now these injuries have kind of piled up a little bit more, and the Chargers have a lot on the line for themselves. So, and I do think, Soren, the Chargers would love to say bye-bye to the Chiefs. You want to be the one that throws the dirt on the grave. So there'll be a lot on the line for them as well, I think.
Yeah, where do you sit on whether or not the Chiefs are going to bring any attitude? Like, do you think that there's this we gotta show them, or do you think that their mind's already on the beach?
I don't think it's on the beach. At least how they talk. We'll play a couple more sound bites here. Let me play Juju Smith-Schuster for you. He's a veteran, right? And we've talked a bunch this week. I'm not going to get in some pity party for the media, but the wide receivers all left the game without speaking to anyone last week. Travis Kelce didn't talk last week. We've tried 3 times this week to talk to Rashee Rice in the locker room. He said no every single time. So they gave us Juju at the podium today. And we kind of asked him about if it's tough for these young wide receivers to stay focused through these tough times.
No, honestly, it's not tough. It's not tough. I think what it is that when you come to an organization like this where they've experienced win after win after win, the expectation is so high, so everyone is so much harder on themselves to just be that standard, to be that bar, to be the guy that sets that bar very high, and to be a part of that. Because you see guys like coming to work every single day, putting in the work. And for the young guys, they see that, and they want to be a part of that. And I think for them, it's more so of they're growing and learning, and everyone just wants to be better. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to do their job. So I feel like as a team, a lot of us are growing in that aspect.
So, Andy says they're working hard. We heard Travis Kelce from his podcast say all he can do is go in there and keep working hard and do all that stuff. We got to watch a game to see. Because I'm like you. I'm a little leery of what we're going to see on the field, because it's one thing to say the things, and we're not at practice the whole time. We're not in the meeting rooms. I'll take Coach at his word.
he's not having to sit there and tell these guys to get to work. But I don't know. I mean, it's a crapshoot. I've been wrong so many times this year on this team on how they're going to come out and play. I'm interested to see, though, because at noon Sunday, they will not be dead, right?
Yeah.
If they win this game, that helps. I mean, I think I saw this. The
keeps them alive for sure for another week.
From 10% to 16% or something. But, it's step one. So it's not like they're playing at night on Sunday and something has changed. And so if we don't see the best of them Sunday, I think we'll learn a lot about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, I want to take a break because I want to come back and talk to you about Kyle Whittingham stepping down at Utah, and Mizzou looking like they're going to lose their offensive coordinator. Todd Lebo is with us next here in the program.
They'll pay a coach, and you just got to be right about it. They've had a lot of offensive coordinators down there in Eli Drinkwitz's short amount of time.
They got $16 million for the rest of the football staff outside of Eli Drinkwitz.
Plenty of money. Hey, there's money out there. It's running around. Go get it. Go pick it up. Can you coach some offense?
Think about it. That's $16 million for the football staff outside of Eli Drinkwitz, and they haven't even tapped into any of those tightwad Fortune 500 companies in the state of Missouri yet.
That's unbelievable. How can they even get it done? I mean, they got to get Seaboldt Foods on with the NIL stuff. It's great.
Do you think he's just going to do it himself, or do you think there'll be someone to name, but do you think he'll just take back over?
I don't think he should. I think he learned he probably shouldn't do that early in his career, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would be surprised, I think, if he took that back over, because I think he realized early on that wasn't something he should do, and he should be better off doing the rest of it. But I don't know what's in Eli's mind on that one. I think it would be a mistake if he did it at this point, though.
And Utah, who's getting ready to bring in a whole bunch of cash, is now without Whittingham. I know they don't have to go look for anybody because they've got a coach in waiting, but that almost never works.
No, this guy has been there for a long time. This isn't like a Will Muschamp coming in to Texas and not been a part of it. Scally played there he was one of the defensive players for Whittingham while Whittingham was a DC for Urban Meyer. This is how long Kyle Whittingham's been there. He became the head coach after Urban Meyer left in the 2004 season, and he had been there before that as an assistant. And so this coach in waiting has been there a long time. He's been there for like 17 years with them all.
I don't care. It
work?
almost never works. It almost never works.
You're right, and he's also a defensive guy, not an offensive mind. But we're seeing a little more defense come back in some of these things. Now Whittingham is a defensive coach. Whittingham and Andy Reid played together at BYU. And his son is on Andy Reid's staff. And this news broke after we had a chance to talk to Andy today, but I'll be interested to see what Andy has to say about this, because I know they're friends. And, it's not surprising that he's done, because I think remember we saw him in our Mexican restaurant down there.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
Days?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he looked, he's like 66 years old. He's been through this stuff. It's a big change coming in. They're doing private equity up there now. I haven't seen him say he doesn't like that new world or anything. But, dude, you're 66 years old. You made a ton of money. Go have fun.
Todd, you're the man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
All right, how many Missouri Tiger quarterbacks have started an NFL game since 1970? Brought to you by Nick and Jake's.